All right, let's talk about the humanistic and sociocultural approaches. Behaviorists argue that psychologists should not attempt to study self-awareness. Humanists, on the other hand, begin with the assumption that self-awareness is the very core of humanity. They focus on people's pursuits of self-fulfillment and ethical conduct. And to humanistic psychologists, people are truly free to do as they choose with their lives. And because people are free to choose, they're responsible for the choices that they make. We've talked about Abraham Maslow before in Motivation and his hierarchy of needs right here. He believed that humans are separated from lower animals because we recognize our desire to achieve self-actualization or to achieve our full potential. And he also believed that because people are unique, we must follow our own paths to self-actualization. And this does involve taking risk. Carl Rogers was another advocate of the humanistic approach, and he believed that people are to some degree the conscious architects of their own personalities. He said that people shape their personalities through free choice and action, and this is termed the self theory. He placed great emphasis on the human ability to derive a self-concept, which is a view of oneself as an individual. And he also believed that the self is concerned with recognizing personal values and establishing a sense of one's relationship to other people. Our self-concepts are made up of our impressions of ourselves and our evaluations of our adequacy. And Rogers believed that the key to happiness and healthy adjustment is congruence, or consistency between one's self-concept and one's experience. He also assumed that we all develop a need for self-esteem, and it's a belief in oneself or self-respect. At first, self-esteem reflects the esteem in which others hold in us, and parents help children develop this when they show them unconditional positive regard. And parents show unconditional positive regard when they accept children as they are, regardless of the children's behavior at the moment. Humanistic psychologists believe that each of us has a unique potential. So if children only think that they are worthwhile if they behave, they'll end up being disappointed in themselves. And humanistic psychologists believe that we cannot fully live up to the wishes of others and also remain true to ourselves. Humanistic psychologists feel that humans are not merely animals, and they believe that for human beings, an essential aspect of one's life is conscious experience, the time of oneself or the sense of oneself as progressing through space and time. And this is a very popular theory. The primary strength of the humanistic theory is their focus on the conscious experience, but it's also their main weakness. Conscious experience is private and subjective, so some psychologists question the soundness of framing theories in terms of consciousness. And it has little to say about the development of traits and personality types. Sociocultural psychology, it focuses on the roles of ethnicity, gender, and culture in the formation of personality. Individualism is a trait valued by many people in the U.S. and in European nations. We tend to define ourselves in terms of personal identities, and we give priority to our personal goals. However, many people from Africa, Asia, and Central and South America tend to be more collectivistic, and they define themselves in terms of the groups to which they belong and often give priority to the goals of their group. And they feel complete only in terms of their social relationships with others. The Western capitalist system fosters individuality, and it assumes that individuals are entitled to amass personal fortunes if they have the drive and ability to do so. The traditional writings of many non-Western cultures, on the other hand, have praised people who put the well-being of the group ahead of their personal ambitions. According to the sociocultural theorists, social and cultural factors also affect the self-concept and self-esteem of the individual. Our self-concepts tend to reflect how we believe other people see us, and members of ethnic groups who have been subjected to discrimination and poverty may have poor self-concepts and lower self-esteem than people who have not experienced discrimination and poverty. Personalities are influenced by more than personal traits and learning experiences. They're also influenced by cultural settings. And acculturation is the process of adapting to a new or different culture. People who immigrate to the U.S. undergo acculturation. And if they come from Africa, Asia, or Latin America, they're likely to find that differences in language are only the tip of the iceberg of cultural differences. And this takes various patterns. Some immigrants become completely assimilated. Others choose to maintain separation. Research suggests that people who are bicultural have the highest self-esteem. And adopting the ways of a new society without giving up a supportive cultural tradition and sense of ethnic identity apparently helps people function most effectively. The sociocultural perspective provides valuable insights into the roles of ethnicity, gender, culture, and socioeconomic status and personality formation. Sociocultural factors are external forces that are internalized and affect us all. They run through us deeply, touching many aspects of our personalities. And without reference to sociocultural factors, we may not be able to understand generalities about behavior and mental process. So we can't understand how individuals think, behave, and feel about themselves without given a cultural setting. The sociocultural perspective also enhances our sensitivity to cultural differences and allows us to appreciate much about the richness of human behavior.